Hey guys, welcome back. So today I received a box and we are about to check out what is inside. We got some foamy stuff, a magical little thing here, which I don't know what that is. I think I know what it is. And inside here, we got, if it'll come out, I might have to rip this. The bigger box is gonna get cut. It's a box within a box. Get that out of the way. This is upside down. A Nova 3D printer. It's a resin printer. This is the, I'm trying to think what model this is. All right, the model is the Bene4. I don't know if I'm saying this right. Bene, it's Bene4. And it's a resin-based printer. And they sent this to me to do a review. So I'm pretty excited. Now, I'm just going to unbox it right now, and then we'll get into the details when I go to set it up. But it comes with the instruction booklet here. A lot of foam inserts. This is something heavy and rectangular, which we'll open in a second. I'm guessing probably the tray the print goes in. In here we have the lid. Now the lid on this printer, I think, yeah, there is a hinge on the back, so it's not attached at the moment. So there's probably some basic assembly to be done. We've got the outer lid, which I will unwrap a little more when I go to do the assembly. Printer's in here. So here's the actual printer. Got some foam pieces. It's got some kind of little, like a little funnel. This foam out of the way, and this is the basic printer right here. Obviously minus the lid. It's got the protective plastic over everything. I'm going to leave that on there until I go to do the setup. And let's see, what else is in the box? Foamy goods. Looks like either, this is a little thing that goes at the bottom of the tray. It's like a little plastic sheet. And some respirator type masks here. There's a few of them. More foam. Another little box, probably the kit. Get closer to the camera so you guys can see what I'm opening here. So there are a pair of flush cutters. I love flush cutters. They look like the ones that came with the Creality, almost exactly. These little tools are very handy. Got a little scraper here. Spritz bottle, probably to put alcohol in. A little USB thumb drive, probably has the software on it, I'm guessing. Hardware for assembly, which we'll do in a little bit. Some gloves, a couple of 3M. Basically, this is like a paint strainer, so it's got a little filter in the bottom here. So you would pour your resin through here, and if there are any little pieces or anything, it'll catch them. A power supply. I think that's it for this box. Put that to the side. I'm pretty sure there's a thing of resin in here, so I can have something to work with. So let's see how much is here. There we go. Got a little bottle of resin. gray, 500 milliliters. So enough to get us started. Print some little stuff. I'm very excited. This is the little tray here, I believe. Yep. And I don't want to contaminate the film getting fingerprints on it, so I'll try to do this carefully. Show you guys what it is. So you can see it's the tray that holds the resin. It's got a little clear film on the bottom, which there is a replacement that comes with it, but I'm going to leave it in here. I don't want to get fingerprints on this. So we'll get to that shortly. Now, I'll put this up here again so you can look at it. You can see that little print bed. It's a little guy, but it's very high detailed, so it's going to be great for a lot of the little detail greebles and so forth I do with a lot of the droids and some small like ZBrush type busts that I like to make. So I'm very excited to try this out. Let's get to the assembly. Okay, so here is the hardware that it comes with. I believe these bolts are the bolts that hold down the resin tray. So I'll set those aside here. These are the bolts that attach the hinge to the lid. I think we only need 2 of those, but I could be wrong. And I believe that these are just extras. I'm not exactly sure what they go to, but I think they go to the resin tray to hold in the little sheet if you need them. And then it comes with some Allen wrenches. Now the printer is still wrapped here. I don't want to be too rough. Switch to the wide mode. Yeah, it's definitely easier 2 hands. I'll probably put this on a tripod in a second. But you can see we have the hinge in the back here that flips up, and then these little bolts here. There we go. Got this one started. Grab a second one. It looks like it just needs the 2. So it comes with apparently some extra hardware. This will go in there. Again, I'm doing this with 1 hand so I can hold the camera, which is making me a little clumsy. There we go. And I believe that is this larger Allen wrench. So snug it down. Now typically with anything like this, I am not going to go too tight on the first go, and then I'll try to make sure that they're nice and even. Back and forth. That's probably good right about there. Now I can maybe unwrap this plastic a little bit more easily. There we go. And the printer is unwrapped. It looks like our hinge works. So let's turn this around. There we go. Hinge works. Top opens nicely. We'll get this thing plugged in. Turn it back around here. We have our power supply. Here's 1/2. Like so. And we have our power cable. You see here. This is like a standard kind of computer cable. I've got a million of these things. So I'm going to plug this in. And I've got an outlet over here. So I'll turn this around. Plugged in. So we'll take our little sticker off here. Moment of truth. Here we go. And nothing. Let me make sure. My power supply is on. I may have it turned off. It is turned off. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, power supply is on. There it goes. All right, had to reset. We are running. So it looks like the screen is on. I'm going to open this. And never want to peel these to the last minute because it's a little dusty in here, so I don't want any dust to get on the screen before we get started. So the build quality feels really nice. This is metal. The button works really nice. It doesn't feel so chintzy. The touchscreen is very responsive, as you can see. I mean, that's awesome. Now, there are some setup things, quick operation guides. I got to go through here and figure this out. And I also found videos on the YouTube page about the setup of this printer that helps show how to make sure that the platform is level. Connecting to a network. This is pretty cool. I guess that's under settings. Network settings. Wi-Fi. Look at that. Oops, I typed in my thing here. Calibration time. Hopefully I remember how to do this. So we're going to open the top. There we go. And we want to loosen this little screw in here. Is that the right one? Yeah, that's correct. So this needs to be able to move a little bit. That feels good. And we're going to pull off the little screen here. Protective film. Some people love doing this. I always feel nervous. I feel like I'm going to put a fingerprint on here and mess it up. But, there it is. It's off. Now, we're going to use this piece of paper to help level it. So, I actually put notes on this paper so I wouldn't forget. Go in here. So look at that. Oh yeah, that's where the VAT screws down. There we go. So put this there. So we're going to go to Control, Calibration. Is that right? No, we're going to clear. Whether or not clear. Confirm. And then this should lower. Now it should be. Says to move it. It's you gotta start to tighten up. Sounds like a blood pressure arm cuff. I'm going to call that good. Tighten this down. Try to keep it snug so that it's not looser in one corner. That feels good to me. Oops. Save. Confirm. Confirm. We're lifting this up. We're going to put the tray in. There we go. Here is our print tray, which has a little sheet on the bottom. We have to pull up before it's done. So we're going to carefully put this down. It's got some little feet that line up these holes here. So I want to make sure that it's correct. Now there's a little pour spot at one end. Don't know if it matters what side that's on. Lift this a little bit higher. So you pull that film out. All right. Cool. Now, let's see if I can get a grip on this little piece of film here. This tool is not doing things, so lifting a little corner. So this comes out. think that's good. File. Some kind of octopus thing. Maybe we should try that just to see what it does. I've got one bottle of Nova3d resin. Open up here. Gray, 500 milliliters. Get this out of the way. Now, you should be wearing gloves when I use this stuff because it gets sticky. 3D printer resin is sticky and gross. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to close this for now. And instead of printing one of the files that's on here, I'm going to print a file of my own. So I'm going to go put something together to print on here. So for my first print, I'm going to do this alien mask that I'm working on for myself. Now, eventually this is going to be a full-size mask, but I'm going to print a small little version of this. Now, underneath here is actually me. So let me see if I can turn this off. There's me, some little references for the alien eyes. Alien eyes, and then sculpted body. So I'm going to export this all as one piece. I am bringing this file into CheetoBox first. CheetoBox. This is because CheetoBox allows me to hollow out the model and add some holes, which will drain any excess resin. And this makes the model just this little wall. Now, this is a feature that I wish was in the proprietary software. So what I'm going to do is finish this in CheetoBox and then export this as an STL and bring it into the Nova proprietary software. So I've brought the model inside Nova Maker, and you can see it's here. It still has the cutouts that I did in CheetoBox. Now, Nova Maker's interface is very, very simplified, so it doesn't give these options to do that. So if I select my model, and I have, you know, move, I don't even know what this scale, rotate, but if I hit rotate, it's all, you have to manually type in what you want to do, or it'll turn it in like increments kind of, which is not quite as user-friendly. So kind of makes sense to maybe arrange this in the direction you want in a different program and then bring it in here. But I think we'll add some supports here in a second and get this thing together. I'm having a little trouble getting this to connect to my network, which I don't think is a fault of the printer. It recognizes everything, but I think that my router might be have a firewall up that I need to take care of. So I have put the first test file onto the thumb drive that comes with the printer. Now I'm assuming I can just put this in the back here, garbage out, and get this turned around. Let's see, task, file maybe? File, here we go. Let's see, how to, USB file, there we go, alien test, confirm. Okay, so now it looks like it's copied to the printer maybe, or it's available. So we're gonna hit that, let it go. LCD screen, resin tank are clean. They are. I'm going to put some resin in. I'm going to throw these gloves on so I can handle the resin without getting it on my fingers, because resin is gross. So we've got the gloves on here. Cool. Crack this open a little bit and very carefully pour some of this onto the bed. I don't know how much I need, but I'm just going to cover it enough to like get the bed covered. I'm not going to go too crazy. I think that should be more than enough. I don't want to go too high up with this. And actually wipe off the edge of this with a little rag before I close it, so I don't drip everywhere. Put this to the side. Looks clean. Cool. And you hit confirm. it's funny because like when you look at this from the front, it's beautiful screen, but I'm at a very strange angle, so I have to bend down to check it out. Parsing file. I'm gonna close this, and these gloves I will save these for later. Parsing success, and now it is printing. And what I'll probably do is, just to show the difference, I'll probably print the same file on my Prusa. So, you know, people that are interested in seeing a file that is done on a resin printer versus an FDM printer can see the difference. The settings are obviously going to be a little different. I did one similarly before, and people were like, it's not a fair comparison because you didn't do the same layer height. I'm like, yeah, it's fair. Trust me, it's fair. So yeah, it's going to start going now. I'm going to make sure this thing doesn't squish out here. Let's put the camera a little closer. So there it is, lowering down into the vat. Hopefully I didn't put too much resin in there. I have no idea how much to use. I'm used to the Formlabs, which auto loads the tank. So there it goes. Squishes down. Bloop. And there it goes. And it should be starting now, exposing the layers. We'll come back in a little bit and check it out. Okay, so we are 75 layers into a 1,339 layer print, and it has been, I think 17 minutes is the total time that it's going to run for. Seeing this time change here. So yeah, I think that's the total time, 4 hours, 21 minutes. And it goes up and down pretty quickly, and unlike the Form 2 from Formlabs, it doesn't have to sweep between each layer. So every time it lifts, it just lifts real quick and pops back down and exposes the layer for a few seconds and then does it again. Now, I don't know for sure if my layer settings are correct as far as the exposure time. I'm assuming it'll probably still work okay, but I'm not 100%. So we are gonna hope for the best on this first print. If I need to adjust something, I will. It's part of 3D printing, is figuring stuff out a little bit, and I think I'm one of the only people with this printer at the moment, so not many people to ask. So just got home, and it looks like the first print is done, and it looks like it came out pretty good. I have to rinse it, get all the excess resin off, but from what I can see, it's looking pretty good. This, I believe, just slides out like that. So the tray comes off. Oop, getting a little resin around. I want to make sure. Should probably clear that off first. Let me do that. So note to self: clear off the resin first before it drips on everything. So there's this little spatula that comes with it here, and I'm gonna just kind of go around the edge and get the resin off of the sides as much as I can, down to the edge so that I can drip it back into the vat. Right here. And what I'm going to do is this, and then I'll tilt it to the corner. Hopefully all the excess will run off. There's the little alien. From what I can tell, he looks pretty good. And for a first print, it looks like some of the support structure broke free in the back, which right here, which might just be an issue with the timing of the layers, which I might have to adjust a little bit, which is fine. First print, if that happens. One thing I'm gonna do, put this back down again. I'm going to use my parts bath that I have for my Form 2, which came with a parts bath. You can make one. It looks really gross, but that's what it is. It's got this little tray that comes off. I'll put this to the side here. So basically what we have here is two parts. You've got one part that's cleaner alcohol, one part that's really gross. I think it's the really gross side. So what you do is you take your part off of here. Use my little spatula that comes with the printer, and get this thing into the parts bath. Now it has this little, there's like a little base layer on here that, there we go. that is kind of hard to get off. Don't know about this resin. I've never used it, so I don't know exactly how long it needs to sit for. But with the Formlabs, I would leave it in the alcohol for probably like 5 to 10 minutes per side. So for a while. There we go. There's the piece. So I'm gonna take that off. I'll just dump that in the alcohol. I don't care. Scrape off the excess here. Extra resin, and then there we go. So that's back on. Tighten this down, and I'm going to close this to prevent dust from getting the resin. And paper towel here. Wipe off my little spatula as best I can. And we'll let this guy sit in the alcohol for a little bit over on the other side. And once he's about cleaned up, we'll check back in. Okay, just took this little guy out of the vat, and it's got a couple little issues, which I think are due to just how thin I made the walls, and then I did get some errors in the slicer. Not errors, but it's saying that there might be problems with the model, and there might be some issues with the print because of it, and I think that's probably why I got a few little holes there. But as a test, actually kind of hard to see on camera. Let me see if I turn the exposure down. It actually captured a ton of the little wrinkles and everything that are in the ZBrush sculpture, which is really cool. Once I get it all dried off and everything, I will take another look. I might print another one and just print it solid instead of hollow and see if it makes a difference. But overall, pretty cool. Good first test. I do think I need to add a little bit longer exposure on the layers to keep the supports a little sturdier, or make the supports a little thicker. I'm not sure. But pretty cool. Okay, guys, just to close out this video, I was going to do a review wrapped into the same video, but it's just way too long. So next video is going to be a review of the printer. That print with those little holes, I figured out what that problem was. It has nothing to do with the printer itself. It has to do with the way I was exporting from Box to the Nova software, whole thing. I got that all sorted out. I've got a heap of much better prints here to show, just a ton of really cool, small, detailed pieces that I'm going to cover in my review, which will be probably my next video. But I just wanted to get this up there, and just want to let you know that, like this first one, those little holes, again, they're totally sorted, nothing to do with the printer itself. Okay, so thanks for watching. I will be back with an actual review of this printer soon, and again, I'll show you a whole bunch of pieces that I've printed. Some of them are pretty freaking impressive. So see you guys in a bit.